Aaron Means, Dr. Aaron Means.
Yes.
Where are you a doctor in? Let's start with that.
Dentistry.
Quick. Dentistry.
Yes,
You're
sir.
a dentist.
I got my DDS, Doctor of Dental Surgery, back in '88.
Okay. Explain to the viewers, listeners, just a brief overview of who you are, real quick.
Well, I grew up, born and raised in Baltimore, Maryland. The sixth child of Robert Earl Means Sr. and Anna Ruth Means. They were from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And they moved from Spartanburg to Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know the year, but my oldest sibling, sister, when she was an infant, I think, they moved to Baltimore. And so in a row house on the northwest side of Baltimore, that's where we all grew up. I went to public school there in Baltimore, then all the way up to high school, and then college there in Baltimore.
Okay, and then studied dentistry at
Howard University in Washington, D.C.
Howard University. I've heard of that. Yep, I'm familiar with Howard University. That's impressive, honestly. Washington, D.C., impressive. Very, very impressive. Then again, I guess that's typical of Baltimore. People go to Washington, D.C., right? Like
quite often,
it's
yes.
very, very...
Yes, it's about 50, 55 miles or so, and there are two major highways that actually connected to.
Well, they have trains, too, that go to each other, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So it's kind of like Boston and New York, too. Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
All right, okay. Aaron, welcome to the HeleyCast.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the invitation.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. You're running for District 33 House Representative.
District 34,
30,
which is the heart.
30. We were talking about 33. That's why I got mixed up. Molly is running 33. You're running 34. That's right.
Yes, which is the heart of Stillwater.
Right. Yes. And then Molly's just all around. Is
Molly,
it still
yeah,
around?
it kind of wraps around except for the center top.
Okay.
And that becomes 35.
Okay, I got you. That's why people are talking about 35. I didn't realize 35's up for racing, too, I believe.
It is.
I didn't realize how close 35 was to Stillwater. That's interesting.
Yes. In fact, interesting enough, is that I live probably almost a stone throw away from 35, just barely in 34.
So you're barely in 34.
Yes.
Okay, so District 35, is that by Bill's Corner? Is that where that is?
Yes, they're going east and west going east to Piney, west to parts of
Perry?
Perry. Yes, parts of Perry, yes.
Okay.
And then it comes down into the northern section of Stillwater.
Is that like, what is it, Lone Chimney? Or is Lone Chimney in 34?
You're agreeing a little bit out of my knowledge as far as geography.
Hey, you're running, though. You should know these. Is it 35? Okay. I'm just challenged, a little challenged.
When someone becomes a representative, they represent
Yes,
the entire state.
Absolutely.
But their major constituents are those right in the middle there within their district. So
I get it.
I do my best to know my own geography, though.
Absolutely. No, I get it. I was just giving you a little hard time. I want to ask you and jump off this question just right off the bat. I see your post on Facebook about medical marijuana or even marijuana in general. And let me explain who I am a little bit. I'm a stand-up comedian, podcaster, a father. I get bored. I get creative here and there, and I do smoke marijuana. I have anxiety, and more than anything, I have insomnia. I can't go to sleep. And if I don't do a little tok at night, I will stay up and just chat with ChatGPT and try to write stuff and write jokes, or my mind stays racing. So marijuana helps me slow my brain down because, especially right now, after losing my mother, I've been going 100% nonstop. So medical marijuana has helped me slow down here and there. I want to hear your point of view why, not necessarily you're so against it, but like why you're so, I guess why you're so against. I mean, you post a lot about the effects of it, and I'm just curious where you're going with it.
Okay. I think one of the main words, the main word that you said in all of that was medical. Mm-hmm. That was the key word, not recreational. Therefore, if a bona fide physician had you in their office and they considered all of the options of medication to help you function as you are now, a highly intelligent, well-organized businessman,
right?
Okay, and someone who helps to present really good media, and if medical marijuana was one of the options to bring that man out of you, then under the controlled situation of a medical doctor who is helping their patient become productive, then I would be able to accept that.
Okay.
And I can accept it. The thing, though, that I would add to the whole process of what people call medical marijuana is to truly make it medical. Okay, when somebody go in and get a couple of, I don't know what they're called, but if they get gummies or the little fuzzy things.
Edibles, grams,
if they get all that stuff, okay, if it was equivalent to a prescription, Zantac or penicillin, what would happen is there would be a specific controlled process to make that, to extract it, to produce it into a product that is well controlled and I see you want to interrupt me, but
no, I'm not interrupting. I was going to let you finish. Go ahead.
Thanks. What they would do, what the whole process would have is a product, just like you get from a pharmacy. Then what will happen for a patient to receive it, because it should be a patient, not a customer at a local corner store. In my opinion, there should be a prescription grade product that actually is going to be dispensed by, once again, a professional. If someone just takes a bag of gummies home and they just start eating them and eating them and eating because they do not have adequate instructions, they can really, really injure themselves medically, okay, physically. But if what they are going to take was from a prescription and had specific instructions, then I would say, that meets the standard of medication, not something that is of very loose distribution. That's what I would say.
So what you're saying? So this is a 2 gram LA Pop Rocks is a strain. What you're saying is, I don't know how much, it's 94.7 THC is what it says technically on the packaging. So, and the terps are 3%. So, with that, what you want is more of a Walgreens experience. You want a pharmacist to be able to tell you how much is in this.
With each application, yes. And then you'd be able to go back to that same pharmacist who dispensed it and who actually has a record of your health history that's that pertains to this particular situation. So if you have a problem, or if a family member seeing you have a problem with it, then they could call up that pharmacist and say, this is happening, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that pharmacist will be able to go right back to their notes, or back to the physician's note and say, what's happening is because it's overdose, underdose, and be able to have a medical answer to the problem that has developed.
Okay. My issue is there's already too many like being a medical card holder, I get an email from OMMA every single day about laws changing in the House and whatnot.
Yes.
I don't pay attention to them. I'll be honest. No offense, but I'm a medical card user. I use at home regardless. I brought this along just for this podcast.
Okay.
So the point is, I'm glad you explained that, because that explains, I kind of actually agree with it too. But every dispense, is that every draw I take or every time I go into the pharmacist? That's my question towards you, because you were talking about every dispense. Is it every dispense of, like, every time I hit this? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
And is there a standard between that particular dispenser and all the other dispensers that were manufactured with that, or the manufacturers down the street? Or if you go, I talked about being from Baltimore. If you go to Baltimore and you want something that
recreational, aren't they? Or are they still medical?
I don't know.
I think they're medical. Yeah. Connor, can you look that up real quick?
And let's say you go back to Baltimore, or you go to New York or Chicago, anywhere, and you want to get the same results from the same dosage, will you truly be able to confidently know that you will be getting this exact same medications at the exact same dosage to get the exact same results? Or will it be less? Will it be more? Simply because they do not have the standard of manufacturing preparation.
So I think now I have an issue with that one, because you're kind of describing big pharmaceutical.
I'm actually describing adequate medication management. The term is malpractice.
Okay.
I'm describing avoiding malpractice, and even pharmaceuticals, they actually do a lot of malpractice.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Yeah,
no,
but when
recreational
okay.
and
but when you can go, if I'm trying to think of a medication, whatever medication. I'll just say insulin. Okay, insulin. Okay. You can go to you should be able to go to LA for someone who is diabetic and go to the pharmacy with a prescription, and you should be able to get a prescription there. And then you fly to Newark, New Jersey a week later, and you need the medication desperately. There should be a one-to-one relationship in manufacturing purity and dosage. That's what I'm saying in regards to this. Okay. There should be a one-to-one relationship in purity, dosage, so you can be confident that what you're getting equals what you would get at any other location.
It's hard to argue, because I'm still, my only argument with weed is it's a plant base, and a lot of pharmaceuticals, you're not even defending pharmaceuticals. I don't know what you're defending. You're trying to defend from malpractice, if I get that correct. So you want less malpractice. But Connor, look up how many death rates have been, or how many deaths have been caused by medical marijuana, or even just marijuana in general. I'm generally curious about that one. I haven't looked it up myself. But I mean, with pharmaceuticals, we see overdoses from opioids every single year. I mean, fentanyl is a huge thing right now in this country. I mean, thankfully, this new administration has slowed it down, but it's still an issue regardless. And I'm generally curious, has there been deaths from medical marijuana? Not jumping off things like strictly medical marijuana, or weed, like dying from it. Medical or weed, any of it.
There are no confirmed records of anyone dying directly from a fatal overdose of natural cannabis alone, as the human body's endocannabinoid system does not shut down breathing like opioids do.
I made a mistake. I should have gotten my mic.
Contributes to thousands of indirect deaths annually.
Okay, so the mental state changes, and that's what kills you. But doing the marijuana itself doesn't actually kill you. Is that correct? Is that what? Okay. Just like acid. No, actually, look, how many people have died from acid and mushrooms? That's a good question, too. Sorry, I'm getting off course. Let's get back on course. But the thing is, what I was trying to say is, if there's no deaths from marijuana itself, and it's more of a mental issue, then it should be down to who should get it themselves mental-wise. Because everyone is different. Even with medical, just pharmaceuticals, you have to grade it from 3 milligrams to 25 milligrams. Everyone has a different dosage. So you would have to do the same with medical marijuana as well, right?
I would think so. But, you bring up a very important part. And actually, this is where I speak on most.
Okay.
And that is the psychological aspect of it. There are physical, medical issues. Any type of hot gas going into the body is a bad thing. It's a bad thing for the heart. It's a bad thing for the brain. and so forth,
As I
and
took
so
the hit
on,
from the vape,
and so forth, and so on. But the degradation of the emotional, mental component of an individual is awfully significant. And especially when people say that, marijuana is not a gateway drug. Well, there's an organization called Teen Challenge.
Okay.
Every year, they have a program in Stillwater, okay? And every year, the guys in Teen Challenge get up on the stage and said it all started with marijuana.
Okay. I mean, for me, it's opened lots of fridge doors. For me, I've never done harder drugs. I've done hallucinogens, but that's as far as I'll go. What? So you're not fully against marijuana. You want it controlled more. You want it a pharmaceutical grade type of marijuana, basically, is what you're talking about. Where you want.
I don't want to put
words in your.
If I was to make a statement, about marijuana in general, that statement would be relating to 3 people.
Okay.
I would say 4 people because one of the other people over there. Those are the 3 people who were born to me. And when I helped, before I helped them, when I knew they were in the world, and I started projecting all these great plans for them, and where I wanted to see them, and all the energies I was going to pour into their lives. Okay, and then where I wanted them to be when I helped them, and as I grew up, I would strongly encourage them, and I did, to stay away from it. Okay, now, again, the people of Oklahoma, a percentage of the people of Oklahoma, and even a smaller subset than that, a smaller percentage of the voters of Oklahoma who thought it was significant enough to get out there and vote, they said yes. Let's have medical marijuana. Therefore, to be honest with you, the existence of it in Oklahoma is settled. It is settled. It is law. Okay. So, for me, the next phase is, if it is going to be medical, how do we truly make it medical and not artificially named medical where it truly is recreational? So if it really does help one individual manage pain, I've heard that so many times, so many times. I've never experienced it, but that doesn't mean there's not a fact. If it really does help to manage pain, then let's make it medical grade pain reliever. If it helps someone, though it contributes to anxiety, okay, if it does help someone manage anxiety, okay, and they actually have a real professional, not some quack. And there are a lot of quacks out there.
Yeah, I know.
But we really have a quack that really is working with their patient. Then let's make it an antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication that we know is going to be dependable.
Okay.
And that's my perspective.
Okay. Interesting. Not bad. I don't hate it. It's reasonable. I can deal with that. That's reasonable. I mean, yeah, I don't know where else to go with that. Let's move on. What is your campaign slogan? Where are you running on? Like, what is your main thing for District 34?
My main slogan, so to speak, is I want to be your representative servant. And what my whole emphasis is all about is protecting the health and safety of our children, our families, and empowering parents to, once again, to be the number one influencer of their children, not government. Not government. I believe in the safety of our women, daughters, wives,
just about to go there,
on campus of colleges and on the streets. And I want to, the main thing that compelled me to go ahead and run this time is that there was a bill that was proposed by the current representative of District 34 What that bill did is it would have prohibited if it's signed into law, but it wasn't signed into law. It would have prohibited universities and colleges from asking potential students, have they had a criminal conviction? But they can only engage in that conversation with an active student once they were brought on campus, which means that,
you can have a convicted felon on campus already.
Yes. You can be sitting beside someone convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, breaking and entering. There's a whole host of violations, including physical, male-female type of crimes. And that does not represent me. And I don't think it represents anyone else who lives in Stillwater.
No.
And so it compelled me to step up because I believe the people in Stillwater, District 34, as well as the rest of Oklahoma, needs to have someone there who truly will represent the principles that will uphold family values.
What about the judicial system?
Say it again, please.
And the judicial system, like the judges, the whole Payne County, you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Is there anything, if you win as the representative, is there anything you can do about?
There is a bill that I want to get written and placed in committee. And just because I write it doesn't mean that it can be passed law. But I believe that judges, defense attorneys, as well as prosecutors who allow an offender, a violent offender, help them get back on the street and they offend again, I believe they should be held responsible. I think the citizens, the next victim, should have the right to have civil case brought against them, if not some type of aiding and abetting in the subsequent crime.
Right.
It is time, in my opinion, that we empower people and stop trying to coddle. I mean, I do believe in rehabilitation. I believe in all that stuff.
See,
I really do.
I don't even believe in rehabilitation. I think those type of people, there's only one rehab, and it's a bullet between the eyes. That's my opinion. Okay. That's where I stand. I'm sorry, but once
you don't have to be sorry.
Once you go past that, especially with children.
Yeah.
If you've ever known, may a millstone be cast around your neck and thrown into the sea if you ever harm a child.
Yeah. You've come into, not you.
No.
Someone else. Come into my house. I'm not going to negotiate with them. Right. I'm not going to ask, are you here just to steal my TV? Are you here for my smartphone? You're not really here to touch your hand on my wife, are you? Are you just I know. You want a short distance between my front door and the front street and the area in the back. I'm not going to ask that. It's going to be a life and death situation.
Yep.
And I'm not going to be coddling or playing games. It's going to be a very bad scene. So I understand what you're saying.
I mean, have you ever talked to? Sorry for interrupting. You ever talk to a police officer about those situations? They say go ahead and end them, because if you wound them, taxpayers are just going to have to pay for medical bills, and for the rest of their life, they're going to be in.
Yes. And actually, what happens is you're not necessarily going to get arrested, but you're going to be investigated. You could very well be brought in. So if someone's violating your space,
you can also be sued,
and you might as well go to the full extent. Besides, that person's not going to ask you.
No.
To what degree should we have confrontation? Should I only slash you some? No. Or should I shoot you in the foot? No. Or are we just going to sit here and just punch at each other? You tell me, sir, because this is your home. No. You made the decision to violate. I made the decision to defend.
Yep.
And I'm going to defend with every breath that I have.
Exactly.
I'm not going to negotiate. So getting back to the original
Sorry
question.
for interrupting.
I really do believe that victims should have the right, the absolute right, to take that judge, to take that attorney who helped them to get back out on the street to reoffend, and anybody else who participated in the process. You already knew the person did one really dastardly thing. You helped them get back on the street.
Yep.
I do believe that the citizens should have the right to be able to say, everybody involved with his crime needs to be held responsible.
I like that. I'm tired of it. I mean, I just recently told you I moved away from Payne County, not of choice. I lost my mother, and I had to move out. And I mean, I have a family in El Reno, Canadian County now. So, I mean, I need to learn my new representatives. But I mean, my whole process for having you on, I was still going to be, your constituent was the whole idea. And I had already booked you, and I wasn't going to go back on my word.
I appreciate that.
I also want to support someone other than your opponent. I've had her on twice, and the last time she was on, it was a weird vibe. We talked about the data center, and she supported it. And I'm curious on your opinion about the data center, because I talked to Jake about the data center, and my concern is the water, obviously, and he said we should do air filters. I said that's a great idea, but also you're just shifting the pollution to air from water now. And he's like, they make great filters. I'm like, I want to believe you, Jake. I do. Like, I work in the car industry. They have carbon filters, all that kind of stuff. I get it, but I don't know much enough about data centers to know if the air quality with the filters would actually be clean, because we know the water isn't being filtered completely clean, and it's ruining land behind the centers. So where do you stand with the centers? Obviously, I use ChatGPT. I'm guilty of using AI, but I am also against these data centers. If anything, I'm with Elon on putting them up in space. I would actually be way more in favor for that than in putting it on Earth. I think we should be actually building more neighborhoods, more, housing to make the housing cheaper, all that kind of stuff.
They should not be inside of cities, period. Is it okay if I put a plug in for another candidate?
For it. Yeah, absolutely.
There is a very tenacious young lady. She's actually humble, but standing up for her constituents. She was a commissioner. She is a commissioner. Her name is Rhonda Markham.
What is it?
Rhonda Markham.
Okay.
That lady stood up when everybody else waffled like a weeble. There's an old commercial. Weebles waffle, but they don't fall down. Everybody else fell down but her. She stood firm, and she held her ground and said, no, we're not doing this. Where everybody else, if I understand correctly, every single other elected official waffled, and as far as I'm concerned, they neglected their responsibility, their oath of office. Starting with the good people, starting with the good elected officials in Stillwater, they had a non-disclosure agreement, which means Google, you're more important to us than those poor people who voted us in the office. They neglected to go to the people first and say, this is a company that want to do business here, and there are some benefits, and we may not know all of the potential bad things that could occur, but we want to share this information. No, they didn't. They said, Google, we're going to go and just...
They voted for it at 1:30 in the morning.
We're going to tell them that it's nothing but a good thing. And so the first thing, evidence that we saw what was going to happen is they did a bunch of construction, and one beautiful community lost a beautiful little lake. Now, what a lot of people are not talking about is that, we know they have to use a lot of water, which means they have to get rid of a lot of water too. Right there in Perkins, if you were to look at their construction, they have two large areas where obviously they're going to have runoff. That's going to be on the east side of Perkins. They're not talking about where that runoff is coming from or where that runoff is going. So
you want to know what my bet is, where it's going? Boomer Lake.
Boomer Lake, yeah.
That's the nearest, largest body of water.
And
if you look at all the runoff already, it goes to Boomer. So a regular person that's going to dig a ditch for water would just lead it into the same ditch that leads to Boomer.
Let me tell you one good thing. There are some good things about artificial intelligence. we have been driving up and down, driving down Perkins. Sorry.
No, you're good.
For a very long time, and we use our GPS map on our cars for all of these years. All of a sudden, something that looks like a lake appears on the other side of the ridge of that property, and it looks like a big lake up on that property. You cannot see it from the ground because of the elevation. But my GPS picks up something that doesn't look like it existed before.
Interesting.
And, I'm not saying that they took a small pond and made a big lake for some odd reason, but it just appears that way. And artificial intelligence helped me to understand is there. Now, I can see what has happened on the west side of it, but I have actually door knocked when my wife campaigned for school board. And there are about 3 really nice communities on the east side of the land of where they're building the data centers. Those communities are probably within 200 feet of probably the front door of this new data center. So with the noise and the pollution from the plowing and whatever disbursement of particles of any other sort are going to fall directly in there at their front door. So once again, they have determined, that is, the powers that be, that it was more important to have secret meetings and agreements with Google than to let people who are directly impacted on this to help them make the right decision.
Right. Also, the only thing we got to vote on was the power. And your opponent, last time she came on, talked about how OG&E can't support it. I bought into it, and then I looked into it afterwards. OG&E can't support any data center. If you look around, a lot of these data centers are still taken from the city and still drawing blackouts here and there. And my question is, how do you feel about nuclear power? Because I'm all for it. Hear me out. Sorry for, I just want to explain it. Yes. We've only had 3 major disasters of nuclear reactors going bad. One was caused by a tsunami, so that's natural disaster in Japan. One was Chernobyl, which was what man caused, human error, I would assume, because it overheated. Someone didn't shut it off, something like that. And then the third one is Nuclear Island, or it's on the East Coast. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's 3 Mile Island. Yes. I think that's what it is, 3 Mile Island. So those are the only 3 examples. Poland is running off of nuclear. Germany was, until they shut all of them down and went back to natural gas. I don't understand Germany, but Poland is still drawing from nuclear, and they're actually doing it successfully. So I'm curious. Other states are exploring it. Florida's looking into it. Texas is looking into it. I want to hear your opinion on it, running as a House representative, because I'm very interested, and I'd like for us, if we could, as a state, to maybe get ahead of everyone else, because Florida's always been Ron DeSantis, and the House and Congress there are always spearheading everything. Texas is basically the javelin guy throwing the spear. Let's be, I don't know, the actual head on the spear and strike when the iron's hot. I mean, let's all 3 work together, because I see so much of us Oklahomans and Floridans, the meth. No, I'm just kidding. But the craziness, the wild eyes in Florida, we want to be patriotic here in Oklahoma. And then the Texas is, we're Texas. I mean, here in Oklahoma, we're proud to be Oklahomans. We're Oklahoman. So until we go to Texas and we're North Texans. But what's your opinion about nuclear power?
Yeah. I like the thought of developing nuclear power. If I could just pull green energy out and just set it on the side, like in the trash, I'm an all the above without green energy. I believe we can develop our systems so that we can be less dependent, even on things on sources anywhere from outside of Oklahoma. And nuclear power has proven to be developed safely and can be used safely. And we have very highly intelligent people. We can learn from the past, and we can make better on what we have today for the future.
Exactly.
So natural gas, oil, coal, and nuclear power.
Is coal? My concern about coal is the extraction part.
Yes.
That's my main thing. And just going back to AI real quick, I think that's the real thing that AI could actually do. If we wanted to stay as a coal country, a coal leader, I would send AI robots in the coal mines. Yes. And those robots, so how I would do it as a company, I would try to keep as many miners on as I could, but they wouldn't become miners.
So they would not be the ones being covered completely black,
they might
having
still,
black lung and all that
right,
stuff.
they might still be dirty because what I would have them do is still be on the surface. And they're sorting, still crushing, all that stuff. Because something has to still... I'm not saying AI couldn't do it, but I still want to keep man into the circle, right? We want to keep humankind. Also, you have to have someone fixing the robots. And once in a while, God forbid, you do have to have people sent down there to retrieve a robot. I mean... It's not. Hopefully, it's not every day like we have today, where miners get sent down into shafts that are this small. You know, you and I can't fit through that, but they're going on dollies and just going straight through and tap, 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 and whole ceilings will fall down. It's wild. People die for it. And what do we use coal for? Trains still? What is the main thing coal is? Correct me.
I'll go right back to the fact that we have highly intelligent individuals in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Okay. And I do believe that we can continue to do research to find ways of, I have no idea what they mean by clean coal. I really don't.
I got you.
But I can't say that we can't get to that point to where we can use all of the resources that this country has been blessed with.
Yep.
And it's possible we may have more coal than natural gas as well as petroleum, liquid petroleum. So I would be more inclined for us to really do legitimate research, not just throwing taxpayer dollars at somebody to play around and just take our money.
Kind of like Canoe?
Yeah. But to honestly have the research to see how can we use these vast banks of coal, which stretches from our east coast across the north, all the way into some of the mid-states, because it's possible we may have more coal than almost anything else. So I would put that coal, at least at the beginning, into the research for all the above, except for green energy solution.
Pennsylvania all the way down to Tennessee, is that? Does
Pennsylvania,
Tennessee have coal?
Ohio.
Kentucky is well known for coal.
And I do believe it continues spreading more west.
Okay. I know oil, being on the natural resources, old wells are being struck again and being reopened because the oil is coming back. So that, what we were raised up in education and everything, this is going to lead into my next question with education, but what we learned in public schools and everything is oil comes from dinosaurs millions and millions of years ago. But if that's true, then how is oil being replenished in these dry wells that have been dried for a while? You know what I mean?
You're hitting you hit a question that I hit about a year ago, and I've been trying to think, and where? I mean, is there a dinosaur producing factory underneath?
Here's the.
I don't know.
But that's the thing. If that is true, then, and this may sound disgusting, and I apologize, but why are we using cemeteries? Why are we turning ourselves into using formaldehyde to preserve ourselves? If dinosaurs are underneath us and they're what makes oil, when our bodies, I'm not saying you and I right now, but millions of years ago, our ancestors, wouldn't their bodies be that oil as well eventually? So when we want to continue the pattern, it sounds pretty gruesome, I get it, but at the same time, your relatives are going to a good cause. Cheaper gas?
You probably you could probably take that idea
If it's true. I don't know if it's true.
into research and go back to some of the Western communities where you had a church and you normally have multiple families, and just see if you actually are starting to get production of oil in that way.
Oil or gas.
But if you like to know my personal opinion, I think the human body is something that is of a level of dignity that really should not be used for commercial venture. I really think that you, as a person, as a blessing, as a creation of God, are far above a tyrannosaur or a mastodon or triceratops. I really do believe that you are far greater. I believe you are far greater and should be managed or handled far better than we would the mastodon or even a Doberman Pinscher or a calico cat. So,
but if we're so much greater, I guess like God said, from ash to ash, or from dust to dust, and ash to ash is what we will return. We will return to the earth as is. So no, you're right. How religious are you? Are you very religious? I just got back into it.
Yes, I'm a non-denominational Christian. Love Jesus Christ. He is my Lord and Savior. I am thankful to God the Father for being the creator of this humble suit that's holding the errand that will live eternally. I praise the Son who died for me and is the payment of my sins. And I praise Holy Spirit who speaks to me and helps me through all situations. And I am not a perfect man. And when the imperfect man wants to step forward, that's when the Spirit of the Lord lifts up a standing inside me and speaks to me to help me stay on the right path. And not just that, but help me to understand why I should stay on the right path.
I just probably here in the last few years, I just kind of came back to it. I wasn't necessarily an atheist. I was more spiritual. I believed in a higher power. I just didn't like the religions. I'm still kind of there. But the difference is I didn't believe in Jesus Christ back then. I just knew there was a higher power, and I believed in that. This time, I believe in Jesus Christ. I don't call myself a Christian because I've been studying the Scripture. I've been studying a lot of, this sounds silly, shows, documentaries, even just biographic type. Have you seen The Chosen?
I have.
Okay, I've been watching that one, and that's been getting me really into this whole biblical stuff as well. And I don't think Jesus came here to start a religion like Christianity. I think Jesus came here to tell us how to walk with him. He came to walk with us. He came here to warn the Jews at the time that, hey, I am the Word. He even said it to the Pharisees at the temple that I am the Word. And they were all shocked about it. So and if you look into it, Christianity was created 100 years after the crucifixion of Christ. 500 years after is when Islam was born. Around about 100 to 150 years after Christ was crucified, when Christianity was getting its start, was Judaism as well, the one we know today. That one was the one where they saw Christianity rising, and they're like, no, he wasn't a real person. He wasn't the Messiah. No. That's the new religion of Judaism that we know. To my recollection, Josh Howerton, he's a pastor down in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. What he explained was Judaism basically split. You have Christians, and then you have the whole new Judaism where the Messiah hasn't come, and they believe they need to, progress what we're seeing right now. Did you hear about the perfect red heifer being sacrificed in Israel?
I didn't know they actually.
did
I
it.
know they found 2 or something around the world, and they took them to Israel. I don't know the whole story.
So a Texas rancher bred 3 pure perfect red heifers and sent them to Israel, sold them for like $3 million each, and Israel paid. Israel did maybe it's right before my mom died, so a few weeks before my mom, a month and a half ago almost, is the word is they did successfully sacrifice one, and they spread the ashes around the temple, because the sacrifice of the red heifer is the cleansing of the temple to rebuild it. It's kind of scary to kind of think, because we know what happens when the third temple is built. If you look at what is there on the mound right now, the Temple Mount is controlled by Islam. Well, right now, the Islam leaders are allowing Jewish archaeologists to dig underneath the grounds of the dome, the golden dome that's in the middle of the temple.
I didn't know that.
This started 2 years ago. So I like I said before we started, I'm a Joe Rogan fan. I listen to Patrick Bet-David, and both have said there's this theory out there that they're not archaeologists. With this whole Iran throwing missiles, Hamas throwing missiles from Lebanon, all this, it's possible that Jerusalem or Israel is waiting for a missile to soar into Jerusalem, because Jerusalem's been off limits if you've actually paid attention. Everything's, no. That's the weird part. No one's mentioned that Jerusalem hasn't been touched by Hamas or by Iran. It's all Tel Aviv. Everyone's been striking Tel Aviv or the outskirts of Tel Aviv. So that means they at least respect the holy city of Jerusalem. I'm not saying it's a good religion, but they respect Christ, the Lord, at least. And I mean, if you read the Quran, they do recognize Jesus Christ as a prophet. So they recognize him as a real person. Judaism doesn't recognize him as anyone, a false prophet or not real. Depends on which Jew you talk to. Getting to it, while we're on here, America first, Israel first. Because right now where we are, our current administration is not showing America first, obviously, and I'm concerned. I don't want to vote for AIPAC. I mean, we saw what happened to Thomas Massey with the $35 million donations into a campaign, historic campaign. Where do you stand? America first?
I'm America first. And within that, what I mean is we have policy. Okay, we have policy by our elected officials. We have an executive officer nationwide will be a president. And then we have the judiciary to make judgment on the actions of our executive branch and legislative branch to ensure that what they are doing are within the confines of legislation.
Check and balance.
People like to say, I'm not a politician. I'm not a politician. If we're paying somebody to make policy and vote on policy, they need to be politicians or they need to go home.
I disagree with you on that.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Well, let me tighten that up a little
bit. All
bit.
right, no, go ahead. Sorry.
A politician should be someone who is voting on policy that directs the affairs of individual citizens. If all they're going to do is follow the recommendations of somebody, then they're not engaging in the process of having good policy, politician. They're not in the process of ensuring good policies are being crafted to save the health and safety, life, liberty, and prosperity. They're not ensuring the safety of the people that they're being paid to ensure that their safety is. So these three branches of government should be ensuring that whatever type of action that's being done should be upholding the principles of our Constitution and ensuring that the borders of our nation and the assets of the nation Number one being us. Citizens are being protected. What I understand from what I see and read of is that the current president says Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. But at the same time, Iran is saying, death to you, America. Death to you. We are not able to do it yet, but we're getting close. In fact, they had the stupidity, and I'm going to say stupidity. They had the stupidity to tell Marco Rubio, we have enough enriched uranium, I think they said, for 6 nuclear weapons. We already know that they have the rocket to propel it out in space. Yeah. So I imagine somewhere in the Situation Room, a bunch of guys, including the president, probably sat around, scratched their head, and say, "Oh, let me see. They have enough enriched uranium for 6 nuclear weapons. They have the vehicle to launch those nuclear weapons, and they are burning American flags, and they are saying death to America. Golly, I think we need to do something about that." And so they launched an attack.
I can see that, and I was raised very similar to that. My ideology-wise, my parents are conservative, or my mom center conservative, And my thing is, so Iran for 47 years has always said death to America, and we have a nuke. For 47 years, they've said we have the power for a nuke. For 47 years. And just now, we're going to effectively do something. My issue with doing something is, have you ever heard of the 5 countries in 7 years war?
I had.
So go to the CIA website. You type in 5 countries 7 years, or 7 countries 5 years. Connor, do me a favor. Look up 5 countries 7 years war. I believe it's 5 countries. You have Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and
Pakistan, maybe.
No, Libya. That was Gaddafi, right? Yes. So Gaddafi went down. Saddam went down. Osama bin Laden went down.
Sadat, the guy in Syria.
The Syrian, and now and technically Ayatollah Khamenei is gone as well. His son is now the new Ayatollah. The thing is, if you look into that 5 country 7 year war span, the whole idea was for Israel. Israel was the one that wrote it, because if you look at the original 1948 agreement with Israel, they never agreed on a permanent border. So if you look at the Egyptian border where Gaza technically is, it is all wire fence, 5 different things of barbed wire all along the fence, and then just a wall. It's not against the Palestinians, I don't think. I think it's against Israel from moving their border into Egypt, because if you ever look at the original map of Israel, it's a lot bigger than what Israel is right now. It expands almost to a little piece of Saudi Arabia peninsula, a little bit of there, takes up Jordan, it takes up a lot of different countries. So my thing is, we're looking at maybe a possible move by Israel expanding because they don't have permanent borders. That's my only concern. And also, we're pretending that they don't have nukes when they've already threatened. Supposedly they threatened Trump. They're like, well, if you don't do it, we're going to nuke them. Well, they've done that with every other president. Bush was like, go ahead, do it. Well, they didn't do it. Want to know why? Who's around Israel? What would happen if Israel nuked Tehran? All Muslim countries would come back Iran and destroy Israel. Now, mind you, who's Israel's ally? Big brother, us. I don't think we need to be big brother. I think we need to kind of be like, hey, you need to go to rehab. That's my opinion. I'm not anti-Semitic. I think I'm anti-Israel government. I don't hate Jews. I have Jewish friends. Their tradition is weird, but whatever. It's just, I don't like supporting them with my taxpayer dollars. I want my taxpayer dollars to go to the native tribes, as much as that pains me, because I'm from Romania. I'm 100% white European. I have Russian and Ukrainian blood in me, so that whole conflict, I hate both of them. Yeah. The biggest majority is Italian in me, with 14% Italian, and then the rest is Romanian, obviously. But that's the other second largest thing, and I'm proud of my heritage. But yeah, being white, marrying a Latina / Native American, our kids are whiter than her. So my bloodline went into that, definitely. And I guess I got off track. Wow.
That's okay.
Wow.
If you don't mind.
No, go. Yeah, interrupt me, please. God, I'll keep on talking, man.
Yeah, and I enjoy it because I love hearing the history and everything.
Yeah.
But getting back to, am I American first?
Yes.
And I am.
Thank you for, I didn't know where we were. I was talking about Israel, then I got into Europe. Yes.
Yeah.
America
and
first.
it'd be wonderful. It'd be great to talk about.
I'll have to have you.
Of Europe.
I'll have to have you come back.
I did a research because I wanted to know where does black people come from, where does white people come from, because I particularly don't like. And if you watch me on Facebook, you'll see my opinion of black and white issue. It's a lady. You may remember the so-called "I Can't Breathe" protest. I was the chaplain at that time, and I only remember I prayed. But I saw a lady walking through the crowd, and she had this big sign that said, "We are all one color human." And I asked her, "Can I take a picture of that?" And that's my logo on Facebook, Twitter, and Truth Social. But anyway, getting back to what we were talking about.
I do like
I am America first. Now, I believe your question is actually getting into what is my stance about Israel. Am I correct?
Yeah, because my next question was going to be Oklahoma first, Israel first.
Okay.
Because we're here in Oklahoma. I would like to know that too.
Okay. So the answer to that, I do believe the Abraham covenant. And God said, pray for the nation of Israel. I'll bless those who bless them. I'll curse those who curse them. Now, with that in mind, as a Christian, as a believer in Jesus Christ, because I agree your history was perfect, and your belief system, I hope everybody go back to where you first started, because no so-called theologian could have explained it any better than the way you did. It was about as perfect as a human being can say it.
Thank you.
But when you talk about praying for the peace of Jerusalem, you're talking about praying for the entire Middle East. If you're talking about praying for the peace of Jerusalem, right now you're praying for the unification in heart, not in land, not in government, but the unification in heart, the brotherhood of the people, yes. Those people who want, saying that Jerusalem is my capital. No, Jerusalem is my capital. If you pray for the peace of Jerusalem and it actually comes to pass, both of those two contentions will resolve. If you pray for the peace of Jerusalem, what's going down in the Gaza Strip would resolve because there's peace. What's happening in the Golan Heights, the potential for the Golan Heights would resolve. You would have peace coming out of Syria because there would be no more contention. No longer from Jordan, no longer from Iran, no longer from Iraq, no longer from Egypt, which right now there are elements in Egypt that want to see the present Israel dissolve. No longer from the Jordanians. When you truly have the heart of the vision what God has for the purpose of praying for the peace of Jerusalem, you'll see an entire continent coming at peace. It'll be a big sigh. Inhale, exhale. No more do I want to kill.
Yep.
No longer do I want to eliminate and exterminate. No longer from... And see, the people who say this next thing I'm going to bring up, they have no idea what river and what sea. No longer would you have people saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. The peace of Jerusalem is the way to bring peace to Palestine.
I think there's another way. And hear me out. This is another theologian or theology that I've kind of cooked up myself. So we know how countries conquer different countries and they take over and they interbreed or they kill whoever lives there, right? Look at what.
Can I make a
Go ahead.
correction there? We humans don't breed.
We fall in love.
Yes.
We fall in love. So we conquer. We fall in love. We intermingle, and we have our own offspring, and that continues generations and generations. So my thing is, if you look into the Jews that control Israel right now, they're the Ashkenazi Jews. Now, the Ashkenazi Jews come from Europe, and they don't have a direct lineage at all, bloodline to Abraham. There's no proof that they have a direct lineage. Now, before 1948, what was Israel? It was Palestine. Now, if you look into the history of Palestine and Israel, it was Israel. But what happens over the years after the crucifixion? You have the Crusades against Islam and Christianity. Well, the last crusade, if you look into the last crusade, who won that last crusade? Islam won that last crusade. That's why they still hold the Golden Dome on the temple. They technically still hold the whole temple, but they allow Jews to still pray there. So my thing is, what if the Palestinians are the true heirs that have just been intermingled with multiple different generations of Islam and Crusaders, and now they're being genocided by the Ashkenazi Jews. There's also another lineage of Jews called the Khazar Jews that came from Ukraine and Russia, and those Khazar Jews eventually turned into the Ashkenazi Jews because those Khazar Jews, they discovered Judaism, took it over as a religion, and they were already a successful tribe because they held a line of the Silk Road. So that's how they became a powerful, and now that's how we have Jews today. Also, because most religions as well, when taxation and money came in, we as Christians or as Catholics couldn't handle money, but who could? Because the religion didn't say anything about money. Jews could actually be the taxpayer or the tax handlers. Look at Matthew. Matthew was a Jew, and he handled taxes for the Roman Empire. Same deal. So it's very just, I don't know if you know where my brain is cooking, but it's just like, I think maybe the Palestinians might be the true Israeli or Jews of Abraham. Palestinians, Romans called Jews a slur called Philistines, which over time turns into Palestinians.
That's a lot of history.
I'm a history nut.
Yeah,
man.
that's great.
My stepmother was a history teacher at Stillwater High School, and I mean, I'm a huge World War II nut. I'm obviously a huge biblical nut now. So it's awesome. I actually enjoy reading the Bible.
I think one of the main things is if we could just begin to get past historical hates and begin to embrace, there's value in all humanity. Mm-hmm. There really is. All groups of people at some time or another have been enslaved, have been robbed of land. There has not been, outside of the Garden of Eden, a perfect community. And it's very unfortunate that there's a lot of efforts to help to make sure that, that we hate each other. But the more that we strive to put down and past old hurts, the greater we'll be. And not trying to get a utopia by no stretch of imagination, but civility, civilization, community, that we can work through all types of old hurts and pains. I don't know. That could very well be true. You could probably do 23andMe on all of those, and that might just show just what percentage
the issue
of
is
this, that, and the other that are in the different communities all around that region.
I think the issue is we only have 8 generations to go back to right now. That's how far the technology or the DNA our DNA can trace back to, is 8 generations. So regardless, there is no trace straight back to Abraham.
Right, true.
That's just my theory, though. It makes so much sense. I mean, who are the original people here? The Cherokee, Choctaw, Seminole. I'm not even talking here in Oklahoma. I'm talking about just in the country itself. And then white man came, and what'd they do? They fell in love. They intermingled. And here you and I are, and voila. To wrap things up, I've had so much fun, to be honest. I want you back. I invited Jake A. Merrick back after the election because I want what's next if he doesn't win. God forbid he doesn't. I hope he wins. You know, I think he's the perfect candidate. So I think JJ is too, Humphrey. And from talking to you, you're better than who we have right now. I can tell you that. I like you. You have been, I can usually smell bullshit. And I can't smell any from you. I think you're honest. I think you're a genuine person. You're goofy, but that's not a bad thing. I like it. If I have any suggestion, and this is just my suggestion because of my age, I do like the suit. I know it's professional. I'm not trying to tell you dress down, but do more casual, polo maybe. I don't know. Just be more of the people because I mean you're a dentist. I'm not trying to smear you, I'm just, to attract an eye of a 31-year-old or younger is first step, podcast. Get on a podcast for sure. You're going to be in front of 25 to 34-year-olds for sure. That's my main audience. And second, I do love the suit. I take it back. I like that suit. I like the suit too. I was just maybe, I don't know.
Tone it down.
Well, also, I mean, you have to look at me. I interview politicians as a hobo, and I apologize. I came straight from work, or I would have looked way nicer. I'll make an effort next time I have you on. I do want to have you on, see where you are after the election. I hope you win. Are there more Republican candidates?
No, actually, what had happened is that 2 Republicans, another Republican and myself, we both filed for this.
Okay.
And interesting enough, the incumbent protested his candidacy. Why? I have no idea why a Democrat would be concerned about 2 Republicans running against each other. But I think what may have been is that this individual, the other individual, did not want to have a primary because maybe it would be given too much publicity to the Republican side. I don't know. I don't even want to be able to get behind her eyes to see what she's thinking.
Wrapping up, where can people find you? Where can people get a hold of you? Facebook, Twitter?
Yes. You can look me up on Facebook. And I have one page, it's Dr. Means on Facebook. There's another one, it's Aaron R. Means Senior.
Yep.
Facebook. Same can be for Twitter.
Okay.
Same can be for Truth Social. My phone number is 918-424-1875. Again, 918-424-1875. I respond to text messages. An email.
That's crazy. You just gave out your phone number right here. I've never had a candidate do that. So that's not, yeah. Thank you, Connor. Yeah, he is. Yes. Yeah, I mean, Jake, I have nothing against Jake. Jake just didn't do that. But then again, I already have his phone number too. So. But no, that's awesome. I'm struck about it.
And one of the key things about District 34,
yes,
it is basically the center with a little extension to the west, southwest. You do not see too many people looking like me walking through the streets of Stillwater. So if you see a tall, thin, again, I don't like the term black, white, all that. That's garbage. If you see a tall, thin, dark-skinned man, you can guarantee it's pretty much me. Please come up and ask me questions. I want to sit down and talk with you. I'll come to your home, sit down in your living room, talk just like we're talking right now. And we can dialogue because I want you to know where my heart is, and I want to know where your heart is, because I know the number one thing you want to do is to protect your families.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm all about.
Absolutely. Aaron, you've done it. You've been a guest on the HeleyCast. We're going to have you back on the HeleyCast. Next time I'm going to make sure you get a gift. I gave Jake a gift. I'm just getting used to these new gifts and everything. They're gun cases. They're gun ammo cases. I wasn't sure if you own a gun. Well, you're in Oklahoma, and of course you own a gun. What am I thinking? I'll send you a private message, see what you use the most, and I'll get you a 3D printed ammo box for you. How about that?
Thank you.
And I'm going to try to figure out candies too. I'm not trying to be like Sean Ryan, but I am in this, like with the gift part, and I kind of went the whole chair thing with politicians. I may, like I mentioned off screen, I gotta get my own studio eventually, get a table between us, and make this more comfortable, more my setting. We'll have different pictures up and all that. More Seattle. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so Aaron, you did it. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Guys, go check him out. Election day is the 16th, correct?
Actually, we will not be in the primary.
That's the primary.
Going
That's
straight
right.
to the general.
That's right. General election November
the 3rd.
3rd.
Early voting starting on the 28th of October to the 31st.
There we go. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed Aaron. We'll have him back after the election. Actually, we might have you back before the election.
Well, thank you.
Let's build up to it.
I would love to come back.
October 28th is opening?
October the 28th is starting early voting.
Okay. Let's do the Monday before that if you're open.
Yes.
So then we can remind people, and then maybe a week before the actual election, 3 times
Yes.
total?
Yes.
You down? Okay, I'm down. I guess that's my endorsement.
Thank you.
I'm going to endorse you right here and there because, I mean, I didn't know if there was a primary. I wanted to get your opponent on just to hear what he had to say. I tried to get everyone. I want to hear everyone's voice and everything. I've heard Trish, and I heard you, and I like you. Trish isn't a bad woman. She's a good person. Poor decisions in politics, in my opinion. That's all I got to say. All right, guys. Love you. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you. Oh, that was great. I really appreciate it. And I will kind of dial it down. I think
Hello, Mark Trotter. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome to the HeleyCast. What's up, Billy Freeman?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hello, Marty.
Oh, hey, buddy.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Next, how are you doing? What's your real name? What's your government name? That is my first question. I'm just going to go right off the bat and go. JJ Wood.
What's up? Long time listener, first time guest. Really excited to be here.
Y'all have headphones now? You get
Yeah, I got
Healy, what year were you born? 97? 96?
95.
See, all right. Technically, you're a 90s baby, but you missed half of it.